Great. All right. So, Sean, let me share with you my one slide first,
Okay,
which
no
is
problem.
our so-called process. So very quickly, like most companies, we have a procure to pay, order to cash process. So the procure to pay is very standard. And I think every year we issue about 300, 400 POs, not a lot because most of the purchases are to our principals who supply the equipment. There are some purchases which are more for like office rental and other miscellaneous stuff. Okay, so that's a very typical process. I don't think I need to elaborate much on it. So those shown in orange are those processes done by external parties, not done by us. The quote to
Okay.
cash process is now a little bit more interesting because every year, again, I think below about 400 so-called sales quotations and sales order. So they could be selling purely equipment. They
Mm-hmm.
could be selling equipment and services, which include the installation. They will do the commissioning, testing, commissioning, and then handing over the equipment. Some of the work could be just purely services without the equipment. It could also be services done on other people's equipment done by so-called W2. So W2 has so-called been very strong in this area with a few very established principles, and it's going a lot into the service order area,
Okay.
maintenance order, which is why we're looking for solution with that. Because when I talk about procure to pay, order to cash, everybody has it. But we're looking for also currently the maintenance order and service order is done manually,
Mm-hmm.
which as the volume grows is becoming increasingly painful. So we're
Okay.
hoping to also solution for this in our new ERP system. The current finance system is actually AgPack.
Okay.
So that's the background.
AdPack. May I know which version is it?
Okay. Viva, do you know what's the version of AgPack?
Uh, I think it's a very old version, definitely. It's not a very new one because actually our system is not so complicated for
Yeah.
the accounting wise. Yeah.
Okay. If let's say we are talking about like 7 years old, right? I think should be like around 2012, 2020, 2010, around there, right?
Yeah.
I see. Okay, okay, no problem.
Let me just maybe pass the time to Viva, who will just do a quick introduction of the team. Viva is the general manager of the
Okay.
company. So she's the Tauke lah.
Yeah, don't say that, don't say that. Anyway, basically, I think basically, David actually, Chipping, actually I prefer to call him Chipping. So Chipping actually has already told you about our company. I don't know whether you've actually gone to our website to take a look.
I actually browsed through a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
I noticed that you guys not only just selling the items, also providing a services scope, and then that there's quite a few range of the services that you guys are providing in terms of like all the industrial services. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So maybe just to just give a summary itself. So basically, W2, basically Industrial Services Hub. Basically, we are actually the authorized distributor for a very well established brand like Honeywell, Schlumberger, Eaton, or sort of things itself. So we actually have quite a good complementary range of products to actually cater for 5 different industries. So we have marine oil and gas, water and waste, pharmaceutical and power, and then tank storage, okay, etc. itself. So basically for this system, it is more towards, we also provide after sales service. That's why the service module is important, and maintenance also. We also do integration so as to value add our principles, like going to IoT, doing our own IoT systems, going to the cloud kind of thing itself. So to interface with the main sensor. So yeah. So this is just a very simple overview of our company itself. So at this present moment, we have our very old existing ERP system from Synergics. So we've been using it for 7 years. Okay, so we felt that it's time to upgrade lah.
Okay, so sorry. So you guys currently using Synergics instead of AdPack?
No, okay. Synergics actually has the finance module also.
Yes,
okay?
correct.
But they have not been able to support us quite well on the finance module. And before we actually get into ERP systems, maybe in 2013 itself, okay. All the while we have to still you still have to do financial module, right? Even everything is manual, you still need to have a system, a simple system to put in your
accounting things on that.
accounting thing. So the company has been established since 2007, so we are already 13 years. So basically during that time we start using APAC to actually fill in all the numbers up. But for Synergics, we did buy the finance module, but it was a wrong purchase because they were not able to
Cater the need.
yes, correct, guide us properly, even you know, kind of thing itself lah. So that's why we never use it, because we cannot afford to don't have accounts, and then basically we have to just move on. So actually these two systems are separated at the moment.
I see. So the Synergies is take care on your progress of like the how to say, the project things on that, whereby the APAC is actually handling all the accounting things,
Correct,
all the accounting process.
Correct.
Okay.
So for the ERP system that we have, basically for Synergics, they are doing actually the sales side, that means the quotation, then basically then the sales order, then the PR, then PO, then DO invoice. Then we also have a simple inventory system, which was not completely perfect. All right, because there was things that they cannot do, so we have to live with it manually. So yeah, just to give you just this simple overview lah.
Okay. Okay, so can I share with you guys that, okay, when you guys talking about the service report, service maintenance, right? Currently, how do you guys actually process on like the recording, and how do you like doing the accounting parts on that?
Okay, for service is actually quite complex, because for service itself, we actually do it manually on a service. That means you write manually on a service report.
Okay.
So when you see customer, we have a stack of paper with different copies, and then basically we will, after my engineer troubleshoot everything, they will write down, record everything inside. After that, then you know, then do the recommendation, or if the problem has been solved, then the problem has been solved, and then basically we sign off. Then we ask the customer to sign off.
I see.
Okay, that is called a service report basically lah.
Yes, correct.
Correct. That one is the service report. So generally we do it all manually using that lah. Using, like, you know, just manual writing everything itself. Then we also do calibration report, which also we do it manually also.
Okay.
We also do it manually. And how to say yeah. Then okay lah. Then okay, I think it's quite a complex issue. But service, we also have a FOA, form of acceptance by Exxon module. So we have asked Synergic to fill that form. So we just have a standard form from them, and then we just submit the form of acceptance. Then we get an SCS number, then we can invoice, something like that. That one is more like the admin side really.
I see. I see. Okay. So basically, right. Okay. Just now there's somebody not in, right? So reintroduce myself again. I'm Sean here. Okay. My company is IT Infinity, and our product today, we actually talk about the products, right? Is named Sage 300. Okay. And it's basically previously was known as APAC.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but they do some of the revamping and some of the enhancement. So there's quite a lot of the features, the new features inside this Sage 300, right? For the enhancement on that, and also that as I think Wee Hua, you mentioned about that you guys only use the accounting modules, right? Okay, so what we actually promoting right now, right, is not only the accounting, also a part of the operational management. So like for like the inventory, order entry, purchase order, so to actually have a full range of the services of the ERP system. Okay, so let me show it to you that this one. Yep. Okay. So normally, right, I will actually show the flow, a basic flow for the customer to have a look on that. What is the actual flow on the Sage ERP side? Okay. So generally, right, you guys will do the process, right, will be under this order entry and purchase order. But it depends. If let's say the order entry is more on to like involve any of the inventory process, then you will do under the order entry. If let's say it's like part of the services invoicing, right, we'll be sure we're doing at the AR side because it's not related to your inventory, ma. So normally my client, what they do, right, is that they will actually do at the AR side for those servicing invoicing.
Or
Okay.
if you have a combination of both.
Actually, right, it's like if let's say you do under the order entry, right, it's actually also doing a sales order and an invoicing, and it will link it back to the AR, which is the account receivable, for you to actually receive the payment from, receive a payment from your client. Okay.
Actually, Sean, okay, just want to inform you that basically our variation, there's many variations we have from our orders itself. So some are just pure, very simple products order.
Yeah.
Okay, that I think all of them can do. Some are pure service order, which all of them do. But most of our things are actually a combination of service and also products. That means basically when we supply the equipment, right? Okay, we need to basically provide, for example, engineering documentation. Okay, that's one part of service. Another thing we need to provide is testing and commissioning at site. That's also another part of service. And generally, customer give us the order for the whole complete package.
Okay, so when it involves the so-called the hardware and also the servicing, right? Normally the client, what they do, they will actually do under this order entry part, because this order entry, right, ultimately, right, is actually for your so-called like the automation under the inventory to like stock in, stock out on that. Okay, so if let's say you're using this order entry or purchase order to do the sales and the purchase, right, it will automatically plug in or knock out the stock item on the system, which means that you don't need to actually do the double entry like, okay, I do on the invoicing for the servicing invoice, then after that I maintain on my inventory on like maybe I take out some item for this sales, or maybe I buy some item from a supplier, then I apply into the inventory. No need to actually do double work. It will actually do one work and will actually help you to knock off on that. Okay, we do have some client also doing the same things like, okay, I have one client is like they're doing the how to say the marine services. So they not only just provide the servicing, they also provide the hardware. I mean the items and also sometimes they will actually like their item is consider their inventory, but then there's for internal usage. So I think it's quite similar to your ends, right? Because some of the things that you buy, right, something is actually for maintenance services. So it's like your internal usage on that. Something like that, right?
Yes, you're right. Actually, that one, yes. Actually, for inventory control itself, definitely, actually, we find that that's what you mentioned, because there's also integration part. And also that to put everything into the inventory control, for example, some bolts and nuts, some brackets, or some very, very small items that we use for integration, some tubing or whatever itself. I don't think it is practical to actually go through the inventory and then basically like, then you want to take it out again, then it is quite tedious.
Because some of minor things are tools, right? Normally,
Yeah.
my client don't treat it as an inventory lah. Normally, what they will treat is like, for example, the stock items that they buy in the bulk, and then that is like straight away will sell it out to the customer, and that will be so called their inventory.
Okay. What inventory?
That will be considered inventory. Like if let's say that, okay, I have some of the tools item is like for the maintenance project. Normally they will treat it as a non-inventory items.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, yeah. So this is a simple flow for reference, and then that normally I will straight away show to customer is the system. So I think this one will look quite familiar to you guys, right? It's because that, okay, the outlook, right, on the Sage, right, is actually nothing much changes. It's just that the iconing and then also the features they add on. Okay, but can I check with you guys that do you guys have these modules over here?
Yes, but basically, first thing itself is that okay, we do have, okay, but basically I think for Synergics they are not able to
Link it up.
not able to do, they have a project module and sales module. So it's quite difficult for us to use both modules. So eventually we compromise to use a sales module. They were not able to merge the sales and project together. So we sometimes actually have for example, partial payment, right? Partial invoice. Also, all these we do manually, cannot be done.
I see. Okay, so
So
under the
if you have a system that basically can combine sales and project together without us going through two different types of modules.
Yeah. So Viva, can I suggest let Sean run
Yeah,
through
let you
the
finish it
so-called
first. Yeah, I
software.
think it's better. Yeah.
So we have a good overview, then we can so-called
Yeah,
ask
yeah,
more specific
correct.
questions later.
It's okay. Okay, basically it's like this. Okay, when you receive an orders from your customers, right, you will actually straight away do under this order entry, and you create a sales order. Okay, then under this part, right, okay, this as you guys using the app before, right, I think this is actually same thing that you actually need to base on a customer or based on a vendor to actually select accordingly and key in the details accordingly. Okay, this is much more, I would say that much more or less is there lah. Okay, and one thing is that for Sage, right, because they actually have project costing, so they can actually plug into the job related, so that they can link it up to the project that you want to. So ultimately, right, you can actually base on the system record, and then to see the, okay, the project, the profit analysis, by when you key in the data, right, you need to actually choose job related, then you will link it up on that. Okay, so if let's say that, okay, I don't take the job related because I be much more straightforward, I just go into the items and then I select an items, right? Okay, under this order entry, right, they will give you to you one glance, right, is that, okay, what is my quantity on hand?
Yeah, actually, Sean, before that, basically, I realized that your system does not allow us to do quotation.
Yeah, actually there is.
Oh.
Okay, basically it's like this. The quotation is under this order entry. It will be based on the order type that you select, which is over here, right, to actually reflect differently. So like, for example, right now, I want to do a quotation. I can come up to here and I choose a quote.
Oh, okay,
then
okay.
I can do a quotation through the system, and then I can actually give the quotation to my client to actually print it out on that. Okay, how is the quotation looks like? Just nice that I think I have one of the quotation report, that a sample report. Yeah, this one. So this will be the quotation looks like. So you have a quotation, and then after that, you guys actually looking at the PDF screen, right? Yeah, quotation, and then the sold to and ship to. Okay, why we have these two is because that sometimes maybe you sell to the customer, but the delivery is delivered to their inventory, the warehouse. So we'll be different location on that. Okay, then after that, the items, then the amount. So this is the quotation. So if let's say the quotation is being confirmed by the customer, then you will just come back to the system here. You know, I think I show the.
So will you show us the sales quotation in the Sage 300?
Sorry, pardon?
Can you show us how the quotation screen looks like in the Sage 300?
Yeah, because just now I actually showing one screen, so I'm not able to show you to you how is it pop up on that. So right now I actually showing the screen, right? So it will be looks like this. So
okay,
this will be the part that when you actually choose the customer, then you can choose whether it's like, okay, I should do the quotation or I should do the sales order. So one sales order I can from multiple quote. Then I can have a quote number over here. Okay, so let's say I do a quotation, right? Then I do it, and then okay, let's say I just do an example. So I can print a quotation. You can see, okay, this quotation 02, right? Then if I want to turn this to the orders, right? Then I just go on to here, I call out the number, I go on to here, I change to active. Then you will see the same item pop up, but then the order number you see is a new. Because of that, the quotation or the quotation sequence number and the order sequence number is different. So they will actually automatically refresh and then go to the order sequence number. So it won't be mixed up. Okay. Then once you actually do all the orders, then you just post it, and then you'll go on to the shipment part. Okay, and some of the client will ask me that, Sean, if let's say let's say I buy this item, I mean my client buy this item, let's say they order 10. Okay, can I do some things like, okay, I reserve this item for my clients so that when other salesperson or other procurement person, right, and then or maybe the sales sales, right, they actually key in the things, right, it won't be like take out my items. So under the stage, right, they have something called quantity committed. Like for example, all here I put 10 quantity for these items, right? I can put a committed under the tab over here, the committed item 10. So order is 10, committed is 10. So it will reserve these 10 items for my sales order, for this sales order. So the other person, when they key in, right, they will actually reflect the data is after this 10 item. Because sometimes when the client actually make the orders, right, it's actually the orders and they actually can wait for the next batch or whatever things on that. So I don't need to actually commit the item. I don't need to actually reserve the item. But sometimes, right, if I say that my stock item is like 20 pieces and I want to actually sell out 10 pieces, right, I got to actually reflect the actual available items in the inventory so that my other people won't take out my items. So I do the quantity committed, and in the end of the day, right, you will reflect only the 10 item left, something like that. Will it be confused or everything is okay?
I think that's okay. The other part to show is that among the services part, let's say they want to create a certain menu of services. Could it be done? Can you show us, like, talk through us how that could be done as well?
Okay, so basically, right, if let's say that you normally, right, if let's say you want to do it as one orders, right, they will actually open up an items, right, create an item, right, which is non-inventory items. So they will actually key in as a new items, then they key in the details. So let's see, I got any non-inventory items on it.
So you're saying that service shops are deemed as non-inventory items, is it?
Yeah, actually we have basically, because sometimes like even we do integration it is very difficult. We only put the major items into the inventory that can be counted, because certain things cannot be really quantified or whatever itself. But we still want to track, like for the service stock itself, you know, who has used the service stock, all sort of things itself. But we do not want it to affect the whole books, because if like this one costs very small value, then there's so many to count, and it's only like it's only maybe $100 only. I mean, there's no point for us to actually like go into the inventory system to affect the P&L, you see. I mean, we just like have another service stock, basically to basically make sure that we keep track of all the service stock. But this thing is more like it's for service internal use.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
actually for recording under the invoice,
correct.
under the order
Yes.
part, right?
对，只是 for recording 而已，对。
Yeah, so basically, right, for clients, right, what they do, right, they will actually do it as a comment thing to actually add on the detail. Because, okay, sometimes, right, the service is like this. Maybe I provide a service, okay, this service A, okay, but different clients, right, my service might be different.
Yeah.
So I will actually use this command to actually key the details, or maybe the instruction to key in the details differently. Okay, I have same service, maybe technical services. Okay, but technical services, right, when go on to each of the different client, right, will have different services instructions, different services job scope. So they will actually use this to actually key in differently. So when the orders come out, right, it will actually reflect under the items. So you need to actually do, right, is actually just create an item which is non-inventory item called service, technical support, whatever things on that.
Yeah, but let's say, for example, if for very small items, that is basically like for this customer, for example, we do maintenance service. Okay, there's some maybe certain things is already a dead cost to them. Okay, so some are very small little items, but we still want to keep track of all these items. But we do not want to put it into the actual inventory because it's going to be a very massive job.
Yeah, correct.
Right? So, but then we still want to track all these items. Is it possible?
Okay, as just now showing, right, some of the clients, they actually use the commands to actually do this keep tracking. But if let's say you don't actually make it as the inventory items, right, all the things you got to actually manually to record down. Like for example, if they say that, okay, I use the tools like maybe 10 pieces, but I don't make it as an inventory items, right? Then the system won't help you to calculate automatically. So you got to actually manually to record down that, okay, I use the 10 item for these particular jobs. Actually, that is just for like a minor tools on that. So something
so
that,
let's say, for example, are we able to know from the service point of view? All right. Let's say sometimes you have 100 items, then basically use 10 of this, then you left 90, and then you have many other items that's left over. Are they able to basically like offset it every time that they use, or the people knows that, hey, there's something there, you know, or this has been used already? Then basically we left how many, you know, that kind of thing. Because
but
we
the thing
can,
is that we are right.
yeah.
Okay, but the thing is that if let's say you don't, you want to actually just like record down, right? Okay, there is a way for you to show that the differences. Like, okay, let's say example, I have 100 items, 100 pieces of this item A, and that's a minor tools. Okay, then I use for project A, right?
Yeah, correct. Then I want to use for
For 10
project B
pieces.
also. Yeah, correct.
For 10 pieces, and I use for project B, right, for 20 pieces. So
Yeah.
supposedly I will left is 70 pieces, right?
Correct.
But if you don't treat it as that inventory items, right, all this record, right, you got to actually do it under the manual part to actually
Okay.
record down. So what normally our client, I mean, we actually suggest client, right, is that you can actually record, create as an item, but then that there's no value, or maybe like because sometimes you don't charge customer, so you actually create a no value items, and then just key into the orders, so that you actually have the record automatically by the system. That will be easier way that you actually keep tracking the record, because although those are minor tools, I mean mini tools that you actually like use it on that. But the thing is that if you don't have the record in the system, right, actually system not able to help you to auto knock off on that. Something that you actually still need to manually do it. So normally we advise client that you can actually just plug in, and then they just put it at the inventory, and just don't just take out the value. Then that is like part of the items, but there's no charges to your customer. Something like that.
Viva, I think, can we let Sean run
Can
through
we
end
just,
to end?
correct,
So we have a good picture of the whole solution.
Yeah.
Because we have only about another 40 minutes left, and we don't want to discuss entirely the sales quotation over here.
Okay.
We want to see other goodies from the Sage 300, especially we want to see how you take care of the service, maintenance, all these issues. So.
Okay, the service and maintenance things, right? Okay, as far as I know, under this part, right, it's more on to like when you actually do the sales order, and then you deliver the services or deliver the order to your customer, and then put into your invoice, then to make the payment or receive the payment from your customer. But if let's say you want to have some things like, okay, I have the service report, and then that let my client to actually sign off, or maybe that there's some of the digitalizing that, okay, I have the digital forms for my workers to actually key in all the service details, then my customer to sign off, right? If I'm not mistaken, there's there's a module that have this, but it's not under the so-called standard package. Okay, because Sage is still at the back end, so you need something which is at the front end. So, but one thing good of Sage, right, is that they actually have a lot of the partners. Okay, because they're actually the aiming, right, is that to go along together with their partners. So those partners, right, is actually focusing on that area. So they will actually work together with the partners, so to link it up to the Sage. Okay, so this part, right, I will actually need to check with my team and check my principal on what is the module that have this function, and then I will actually send some brochure to you guys. But I can let you know, right, I actually have seen it before. How is it works, right? Basically, that service things, right, is that the service guy, the technical guy, right, will actually have maybe a tablet or maybe a notebook, okay, not notebook, okay, tablet or phones, and then they will actually go down to service, go to the customer A to service. Then after that, once they're done, right, they will actually write in all the service detail, how they do, and then what is the thing they do, and then what is the problem they solve. Then they will let the customer to sign off. Okay, then once customer sign off, right, then you actually send the data back to their database. Then
Okay.
it depends on whether I want to print it out or maybe the email to the customer. So that I have seen that before under the Sage products. Okay,
So
but
can
this
I
one I gotta
clarify that?
check which of the module on that.
Yeah. So Sean, what we're
Mm.
talking about is for the technician on the ground to log in what are the reports and all these things. So this is actually, are you saying this is not part of Sage 300? This is additional partner module, is it?
Not okay. Sage have their own base. Okay, as I show you just now, the screen of the where's my word file? Yeah, as I show you guys just now, this one, right? This is we call it the base. Okay, so under this base, right, this is actually the Sage 300 that we actually distribute to the customer. So that module that I mentioned, right, is out of this standard package, out of this standard base, right, there will be actually have enhanced module on that. So those what we are talking about is actually an enhanced module.
Okay, for the enhanced module, will it also increase the licensing costs?
Yeah, definitely because of that. They are actually by the Lego basis. Meaning is that what things that you want, then they just add on into it and then code you accordingly. Okay, there might be something different than other vendor because other vendor, right, like what I know from Synergics, right, Synergics that they just solely customize for you. So you tell them that what you need, they customize for you and then charge you a sum. Okay, and for other products like SAPs, right, okay, they have the module is actually the full module and then dump it to you. And then if you don't use or you use, right, it's actually there. So that is a different perspective. For Sage, right, is that, okay, they will actually give you a standard, okay? Then if you want to have more, right, then you just add on. But definitely you add on, right, the cost will be there. But I will say that it won't be like, okay, add on another 10K, 20K, 30K like that. It may be, but then that depends on how many users and what is the module that you are looking at.
Okay, so great. So Sean, maybe can you just walk through the end-to-end sales process until invoicing so we can have a picture of how Sage 300 works?
Okay, so basically, right, right now, just now we actually create the sales orders, right? Okay, so let's come back to the sales order part.
So Eva, let's hold the questions until we finish the demo so we can complete telling the story first, then we ask him questions, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, this will be the sales order. Then I create a new customer and I do item selling. Okay, I can have different price lists. Okay, then after that, I can also have different location because if let's say that I have different warehouse, right, I can get the item from different location. So you will see under this part, right, I have location 1 and I have all location because maybe I have 4 location. So the total will be this item amount, and then the location is this amount. And I will know that how many quantity on a sales order, how many quantity on a purchase order. Okay, but this is not coming yet. Okay, because when I drill down, right, I will know that, okay, when is the date, expected arrival date. Okay, something like that. Then after that, I just key in the quantity order. Okay, I just put it post, then you post it to the next step, which is the DO. Okay, so okay, 68. Okay, so I go on to the DO side. Okay, I create a DO, so I need to actually call out from the order entry. So which means that you don't need to actually rekey in the whole thing. I just select the customer, the same customer, and I will have an order number over here. So I just choose, okay, this is the order number that just I key in. So I just go on and I will have the item over here. I can choose to ship all, or I can choose to partial deliver by keying the item over here. So if let's say I key in like 5 items, right? Then I click post, right? Under my invoice will be 5 items. And under the shipment entry part, right, I still have 5 item balance, which is non-ship, haven't shipped yet. So my invoice will be actually as same as my shipment. So let's say that, okay, let's say I ship all. Okay, then I post it, right? As same as just now, I will have the shipment code, the shipment entry code. Then I just go on to the invoice to actually call out that shipment code. As same as just now that I actually choose the same bag, the customer. Okay, sorry, this not this customer, this customer. And then after that, I just call out the shipment number. Then everything will be over here. Then it's then that I post it to my invoice AR side to actually pay. get the payment from the customer because this is sales. And the purchase order is actually work opposite way of this order entry, which means that purchase order, there will be one more icon in front of here, right? Is that purchase order have one so-called requisition. So you can requisite, okay, then request by who, then after that post it, then to let the admin level, right, to come into here to call out a requisition number to activate it. Then after that, you just go into the purchase order to reflect the data. Okay, so let's say that I don't go through the request, I just go into the purchase, right? Okay, as same as just now you can see, right? There just now I do the order, right? It's choose customer. Okay, but under the purchase, right, I choose vendor. Okay, then I can choose different template. If let's say I have different template on that. Okay, then after that I just make a purchase. Choose the item. Location cannot be blank because I need to know that which of the location that I need to plug in on that. Okay, so I have different location, and I will, on this tab, right, I will know that, okay, the quantity on hand, quantity on PO, SO, which is just now you see under the sales order below that. Okay, but under here, right, you choose the location, right, then we will know that which location have more items. So I just plug onto, maybe go on transit. Okay, sorry, I need to plug into the location. Sorry. Okay, then after that, key in the orders, quantity, then post it. So once I post it, right, then you will go to the next tab, which is the receipt. So let's say I pay in 20, then I post it. Okay, 30. Then receipt. And then I choose back the same vendor. Then I choose the PO. So as same as just now I actually ship all, meaning is that I deliver all item, right? Here also I can choose that receive all. Okay, so you can treat this PO as a mirror of the order entry, which is sales order, that the thing will be the same. It's just that whether it's like I buying or I selling. Okay, but one thing is that under the sales order side, right? Wait, okay, you will see under the bottom here, there is an item called create PO. Now it's actually in gray color is because that I actually didn't key anything. Okay, some client will actually do as like, okay, I have received a sales order, right? Then I just based on the sales order to create a PO to my supplier. Okay, so under Sage, right, you can actually create a PO automatically by using this data, create a PO. So I don't need to actually like go onto the PO side to key in another PO. Okay, this is one of the feature also. Okay, just for your info. And the credit or debit note is the same thing that you can actually do it, and also the copy order or copy the purchase. So you can actually copy some of the similar, I mean, let's say example, I buy the 10 item and maybe I buy from another vendor 8 item, which is quite similar to these 10 items, right? And then I can just copy the order and then just do some editing, something like that. Okay, then the reports will be under here. We have quite a bunch of a report in the system now. Okay, the things that normally I will actually highlight to customer that they're actually using Sage App right now, right? What is the differences? Okay, the main differences, one thing is that at the old times, right, the tax tracking reports, right, you got to actually purge the data, meaning that you got to actually clear it. Then you can print the tax tracking report. Okay, but under the Sage latest version, right, it's actually you can choose by the physical period or by the document date. So which means that you are no longer to just push all data and then that to actually do on the new record. You can actually just choose the period and everything will be stored in the system still there. Okay, that's one thing different. Another thing different, right, is that under the, okay, I haven't activated the license, but then that under the latest version, right, there is a tab called Singapore Tax Report, which is a GST form 5 is inside there. Okay, then the third one, right, will be this intelligent reporting. Okay, this is quite interesting. At the old times, right, at PAC, right, when you want to do any of the reportings, okay, like, okay, I don't want a standard, I want my own report, right? You got to actually find a vendor, and then the vendor will charge you and then customize accordingly as a crystal report. Am I right? Yeah, but right now, right, with this intelligent reporting, right, so long that customer have the knowledge of the Excel formats, right, you guys can actually manipulate, or you guys can actually create their own reports. Okay, one of the interesting report, right, I will actually show you the customer, right, is called dashboard analysis. Okay, it's all inside here, the bunch of a report, and then you can actually print the report as for what you want. And then there's one report called dashboard analysis. Okay, what I'm saying is actually quite interesting, right? Is because that under this dashboard analysis, right, in one glance, you will know that, okay, my P&L, okay, my profit versus the budget, and then my top 5 items, top 5 accesses, top 5 customer is all in one glance. Wait, okay, let me show it to you. Yeah. So you can see this is the dashboard analysis report. So under this report, right, I can have one glance on my P&L, and then my net profit actual year to date versus the budget year to date. Then my top 5 items, top 5 customer, top 5 expenses. Okay, and one thing quite interesting is that if right now you don't want these 5 items, you want the 10 items, right? Or maybe you don't want top 5 customers, you want top 10 customers, right? As I said just now, so long that customer, you guys have the knowledge of the Excel format file, right? You guys can actually play around with the data, and then they just change it as per you wish. Okay, because all the data will be inside this tab. Oh, sorry. Unhide. So you can see all the data is actually here. So I can just unhide it and then view all the records. So all the data at this booklet, right, it will be extract from the Sage. Okay, but it won't affect your Sage record. That's why that the customer can actually just play around with this report on that. Okay, but the data, you can still store the report that you do, right, as a template in the system, because under the Sage, right, there's one called report manager. Okay, so all the report just now I actually show it to you under the viewing, right, is all inside here. Okay, and you can see there's one so-called save Excel template, meaning is that when you actually generate the report to the Excel booklet, right, once you actually do the manipulating or the editing, right, you can actually save back to here as a template. So the next time they want to print the same report, right, you can come back to here to print it out. So this is the intelligent reporting. And this is actually quite useful and quite interesting to the client, is because that they are no longer being required to pay extra cost to actually get their own report.
I want to chip in 2 quick questions. One is that this report is part of the standard license.
Yes.
Second question is, one of the things that we're discussing this morning is that we want to see from a sales perspective, what is the sales by the salesperson, sales by customer, and sales by different product lines.
Okay, for the standard reports, right? Okay, we have the sales statistic and this one, reports. Okay, we have a sales statistic report, and then it's actually from the year to year, and then when you print it out, right, it's actually something looks like this. And we also have still history record. Okay, yeah, this is like a still statistic. And then that we also have still sales history report.
Can we see the example of the report that you generate?
Yeah, wait, give me a second. I open up again. So this is a sales statistic report. This is a standard report, very standard report under the Sage. Okay, then I can actually drill in.
Do you have any view like pie charts or graphical things?
Yeah, so if let's say that you need it to actually in the pie chart or the bar chart, right? Yeah. Normally, right, we'll actually refer client, right, to go on to the intelligent reporting, because Sage standard report, right, there's no pie chart, bar chart.
So is the intelligent reporting part of the license, or is additional?
Part of it.
Okay.
So then I generate a file. Give me a second.
So this reporting function is using SAP Crystal Reports.
Yes.
Okay.
But then they actually do it as like a Crystal report. Then after that, export everything to the Excel booklet. Wait, I'm just generating the file. So this is one of the sales master report because I don't have much data lah. So yeah, actually this is one of the report. Okay, so you can actually segregate them by the salesperson, okay, customer group, category, period, location, currency. You can do all this sorting, and then you can actually also play around with it. Wait, sorry, not this one.
So that looks very much like Excel pivot table. So this is actually in Excel, right?
Yeah, actually, this is an Excel. They're actually using the Excel booklet, right, to actually extract data from the stage to here. Okay, but you will have all the data inside here. The parameters are.
So it's easier for us to play around and manipulate
Yes,
the
and
data.
then it won't affect your accounting details.
So this is very much a pivot table function, is it?
Yeah, very much like Excel table, Excel booklet, so that you can actually just play around with the data and then just change it the layout that you want.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's under here. When you actually go on to the stage, right, the report, right, okay, then they will have this thing called sales master.
Okay.
Okay, then you also have purchase master, inventory master, financial trend analysis, ratio, income statement, all is here. It's just that you need to select the period. Okay, and you also have like the consolidated financial balance sheet, everything is here.
So these are quite generic reports that we can then subsequently drill in and manipulate in Excel.
Yes. For example, just now I showed to you the report, right? Maybe you don't want this layout. You want to have more complex layout, or add any more columns, right? You can add into it, and then so long that the data is inside the stage and it will be reflected here, right? Then you will auto reflect the data. Then after you can actually save it as a template back to the stage report manager. Where's my report manager?
So Wiwa, this is a bit like what we're discussing this morning about the sales analysis, right?
I think basically, actually, Excel is actually quite a powerful. I mean, it's a simple one that actually most of people knows, and also
Yeah.
I think it's good. It's not something bad, but just that basically, okay, maybe Sean, you can finish out your thing and ask.
Sorry.
No, you can continue to present whatever you have.
Okay, yeah, so let's back to the system. Okay, so back to the system here, that all inventory here, right, you can actually do some sort of the inventory maintenance. And then also that if let's say you have some item which is like built with fused materials, right, you actually need to create the bombs over here. We call bombs are built on materials. Okay, then you actually take out the data over there. Okay, but just ignore these two lah. Serial loss and the number loss. This one is actually additional things, so they are just ignored it. Okay, so under the inventory transaction, right, all you need to do is that maybe some of the internal usage or adjustment. Okay, and then the stock take. That's it. Because everything will be taken under the order entry, which is that you sell out, and then the purchase order that you buy in. So under the inventory here, right, all you need to do is that doing some sort of the internal transfer or internal usage. Maybe stock transfer to one location to another location, or maybe the internal usage as my samples. Okay, sample items actually give it to the customer, but that is actually my internal usage. Or maybe some sort of the adjustment. Okay, maybe there's some of the issue that there's something actually is damaged, so I actually do the adjustment. Okay, then assembly is actually build up the item as a bomb lah. So this is assembly. Okay, then you actually have a selling price analysis, or you can actually retrieve over here. But sorry, under the systems, right, the report, right, only under the GL side, the financial report, there's some report that we should have a diagram, a pie chart diagram. For the rest of the report, right, mainly is on the wording. Okay, so show an example. Under the financial reports, right, we have income statement. Okay, then yeah, we have something like this, which is like the income statement. Okay, then they'll have a pie chart like that. That's quite a generic report lah. But if let's say that you are asking for some other report with the pie chart or bar chart, right? That one normally we will actually advise client to go for the intelligent reporting to actually do out on that. So if let's say customer want us to do out for them, right? Also can, also possible, but definitely they will have some sort of the charges lah. Yeah, that's the thing lah. Okay. Yeah. So any other things that you guys want to know more? Okay. One more thing is that for some of the old users, right? I mean, existing users, right? They're actually quite familiar with the folder basis. Okay. But some of the new users, they might not be able to like so comfortable with this folder basis, right? Because sometimes they won't know that the next step what to be done. Okay. So normally, right, I will introduce this one to customer, business process flow. So everything will be in the flow basis. And this flow is not a standard, meaning is that you can actually create your own flow. Okay, so the standard will be like, okay, enter the vendor invoice, and the next one will make a payment. And they have reporting over here. And if let's say the inventory, right, I will know the step by step, what is the thing that I need to do. So this is the quite useful for the customer, which is a new user. So they no need to actually go on to dig the folder and what item that I need to use, no issues on that. They can come to here, okay, right now I want to do a code. So I just click on, and they will go on to the tab just now I showed it to you. You see. So for the new user to the Sage, right, this is much more useful for them. They are no longer to actually go into folder digging. Okay, yeah. And project job costing. Okay, this one is quite how to say, it's quite tricky. Why? Is because that they actually have a lot of things that actually do the setting up. Then after that, right, we will base on the different customer, different project functionality to actually introduce on that. Because like I said just now, I have one client actually as a similar process than you guys, right? But their project job costing they use, right, is different than the standard. And I would say that not every customer, the project costing is the same. So normally, right, this one will base on the customer, the flow, right, to introduce accordingly. But definitely you need to create some sort of like the contracts, the project items, so that when you actually plug into the project under the order or the sale or the purchase, right, it will actually reflect the details accordingly. And you need to create like something called like direct material, indirect material, labor, or everything. So everything you need to create under here.
This project costing, is it like setting up the projects and then putting in the so-called various jobs to be done, as well as costing all the resources, manpower, equipment, and inventory resources to, at the end of the day, see what's the profitability of the various projects?
Yes. So once everything you key in properly, right, then in the end of the day, you have an analytical report, like for example, my profit analysis. And then whether this project I'm overbuilding or underbuilding. Okay. And also that the detailed cost on that. But if let's say that you guys is actually doing some sort of like the progressive claims, right, then some report might not be usable to you guys because of the progressive claim is actually different. So
have you done any implementation of project and job costing in the last 3 years or so?
Sorry, pardon?
Do you have any customers activating this module in the past 3 years?
Yeah. We actually have quite a few customers also using the project costing and in the past 3 years, and then that right now they're actually actively using it. But the usage function will be totally different because you see, when you see under the transaction, right, there's a lot of thing over here, right? But when they do, right, they will do it under the purchase order, and then this all, right, they might not be using because of that. Under the purchase order will plug in everything on the material cost on that.
And what kind of companies use this project and job costing?
What kind of it?
Are they in the construction industry?
Construction, definitely. Okay. And like I said just now, the one of the company is actually under the marine and offshore industry. Okay. Engineering. Retail, not much. Retail don't need actually the project costing.
And so for W2, because W2, we are so-called selling equipment and providing accompanying services.
Yeah.
Where we could maybe do the installation and then maybe maintenance for the next few years. So do you think that project and job costing is will be useful for us, or do you think it's overkill?
No, because if let's say that the project is like going by let's say months or years, right, and then you need to actually have a proper record, right, project costing is quite useful. But if let's say that, okay, I'm doing as a project basis, okay, but that is actually just one-time project. The rest of it after that is actually the maintenance, right? I don't think project costing is actually much more useful than for you guys. Yeah, and then but just for your info, right? Just for your info, right? This project costing is an add-on module. Yeah, okay, because our package under the PSG package, right, is System Manager, AR, AP, GL, order entry, purchase order, and inventory, which is just now I showed to you the Excel, the wording file, right? This is what our standard package under the PSG.
Maybe in the table, can you tell us which are not as part of the ESG apart from project costing?
On the wording file over here that you see, right, it's all inside. But under my systems, right? Okay, under my system here, right? Project costing is not inside. The rest of it is inside. Okay. And the system managers, right, is actually the administrative services and the common services. System manager. Okay. Administrative services is the modules that let you to do all the setting on the access level, module access, backup, reload the database, and user ID password recording, creating. Okay. And the common services is for you to actually set a company profile, and then the currency, okay, the bank services, bank reconciliation, okay, and the tax tracking report under here. So this is a system manager for the administrative services and the common services.
Well, the APAR module looks like the ACPAC system.
Actually, to be honest, right, this layout, right, is actually, I would say that 98% as a APAC. Yeah, because they actually, okay, what the concept they do, right, is that they actually renew the icon. I mean, change all the icon to more latest fancy things on that. And then also that they add on the features, like for example, intelligent reporting, visual process flow, and then some of the enhancement on like the module things, like for example, text tracking report, everything's on there, and some of the processing on there. But if let's say you want to ask me about the concept, right, of the stage, right, yeah, the concept is still the same, is that batch posting. That is the main concept of the stage. Pros and cons. Some client actually like it, some client actually don't like it. Yeah, so it actually depends on client preference.
Okay, maybe can we jump ahead and then we can come back here again, but can you give us an indication of the pricing structure of this? And what information do you need from us to find out the pricing structure?
Okay, basically is like this. The pricing structure, right, will be fluctuated based on how many users that you're looking at.
Are we talking about name users?
Concurrent users.
Oh, it's based on concurrent users.
Yes, correct. And our package, right, is actually like 3, 5, 10 users, 3 different packages.
Actually, 5 will be quite a good indication of concurrent users.
Yeah. Okay. So if let's say that, okay, like for example, some of the client will tell me that, Sean, I have 7 users. 5 of them is concurrent. The other 2 is not concurrent. So how do you actually doing the package for me? Okay. So basically under our PHP package, right, you actually go on is the PHP package 5 user, and I will give you another quotation, which is that for that 2 additional user, which is not concurrent.
Because concurrent user as in the users using the Sage 300 at the same time.
Yes, correct, at the same time.
So let's say if I buy 5 and the 6th person when I come in, they will say that, oh, you exceeded the limit, you cannot go in.
Yes, correct. So that's why that you need to actually buy the license. And then also it actually depends on how many PC that you want to install. So as I said just now, if let's say you want to install into 7 PCs, right, but 5 concurrent at the same time, right? So the PSG 5 user is your package. And then the other 2, right, you need to add on the license for the computer. It's like you buying the Microsoft Office, right? You gotta actually have a license for each computer, right? It's the same thing.
So let's say there are about 10 users using. At any point of time, there's 5 concurrent users. So I need to buy the 5 concurrent user package plus 5 other additional PC licenses.
Yes, or alternatively, right, some client will actually consider to buy a 10 concurrent user package. But I can tell you, right, yes, the initial outlay is actually quite big difference. Okay, but when it go on to the when you go on to the net investment after the grant, right, it's actually the comparison and the price difference is not that much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's initial cost that's more expensive Which one is more expensive? The concurrent user is more expensive, I guess.
Yeah, concurrent user. So like for example, okay, let's say that we just now talk about 5 users, right? Oh, sorry, give me a second.
Okay, you are muted. We can't hear you if you're talking to us.
Sorry, give me a second. I pause the share screen a little bit. I just give me a second.
So maybe you can give us indicative pricing for the 5 and 10 concurrent users. Then we can do a comparison.
Yes. Okay. So basically, right, the concurrent. Okay, let's say that 5 concurrent user, right? The initial outlay is 33K 759. Okay. Then the government will actually the PSG package, right? The government will actually provide up to 80% of the qualifying costs. Okay, so let me show it to you. The 5 user, I have a sample right up under this email. Where is my email? Yeah, this one. Okay, so this is actually the 10 users package.
Okay, we're still looking at your Sage
Yeah,
300
yeah,
score.
yeah. Because I gotta actually
Take out some
take
information.
out first because that is actually
No problem.
my customer email. That's not the standard things on that.
Yeah, we want to know the cost parameters. The actual cost you can calculate later. To help us know how, because different solutions are priced differently.
Yeah. So ours is actually a licensed product, so that when the customer buy it, right, then they actually buy a perpetual license, and they will also have a recurring cost. To be honest, so the recurring cost, right, is depends on customer whether they will go for it or not. If they say they don't go for it, right, then normally they will actually is the one-time payment. Okay, what does it mean by go for it, right? Basically, it's like this. If let's say that some client, okay, Sage is like this. There will be one recurring cost called Sage cover. Okay, Sage cover is actually something like you can treat it like insurance premium. If let's say you pay the Sage cover and then you are actually the license is activate, then you want to add on any user or you want to add on any modules, right? You can add on accordingly. But if let's say that your Sage cover is lapsed, right, meaning that expire, right, means that you cannot add on the user or add on the license for the modules, other modules lah. So there's like a premium on that. So some of them will ask me that, Sean, does it necessarily for us to actually go on that Sage cover? Okay, for this one, right, I would say that actually really depends on customer preference and customer viewing on the next few years. If let's say that you think that, okay, next few years, I won't be able to, I won't go on to add on any modules or won't go on any users, right? Then you can just go on to the first year you will do. Okay, so okay, yeah, this is actually the pricing structure for the 5 user. So you actually have all the modules, okay, and then the 5 concurrent user, and then the 4 customization forms, and the pricing is at 33K 759. Okay, this PSG subsidies up to 80% of the qualifying cost, right? This one, basically, we also not sure about it. Why? Is because the government actually didn't really let us know. Okay, but recently there's some of the client actually told us that they actually put some of the info under the government portal. So as per the record, right, this PSG subsidies, right, the qualifying cost is about 32K. Okay, so 32K, 80% of the 32K. So it will be about 25K 600.
So if it's a 10 concurrent license, you will double this figure.
No, 10 concurrent user is this 43K 237. So it's like about 10K more. But then you can see, right, after that, right, the net investment, right, This one is 13K. Okay, whereby this one is about 9K something.
Okay, so not much difference. Huh?
Not much difference. So some of the time what thought of it is that maybe I can straight away buy the 10 users. So in order to save cost in the future, because when one user's license that you add on, right, the pricing is about 1,008 for one user. So some of the time we'll thought of it and then have this kind of the thought, and then they just choose the different package on that. Okay, what will be the subsequent cost? Okay, as mentioned just now, one is a stage cover, another one is to us, IT Infinity. Okay, so our subsequent cost, right, is called maintenance contract. Okay, normally the minimum package that you actually quote to customer, right, is a 10 hours time-based maintenance support, and it's actually priced at 1,250. Okay, 10 hours, how does it calculate? Basically, it's like this. If let's say it's the phone services, email services, right? Email support or phone support, right? Is unlimited. Okay, but if let's say it's like we got actually team viewer into your computer or team viewer to your server to do the setting, right? Then they will be in a block of 15 minutes. If let's say it's an on-site services, then you'll be in a block of 2 hours. Okay, so customer will ask me, Sean, I don't want to have the physical hardware. Don't want to have a physical servers. Any recommendation? Okay, so basically, right, we do actually recommend client, right, you can buy this package and then put onto the cloud hosting services, either like the Amazon Web Services or the Microsoft Azure Web Services. So you put onto it and then you can access anywhere. It's actually the same thing. But for the pricing concern parts, right, I would say that my client will be, after they compare on it, right, they will actually go for the hardware. It's because that the hardware is actually a one-time payment cost. And that hardware can last you like maybe like 3 to 5 years.
What's the typical server cost to host this so-called solution?
Okay, if let's say you're looking at for the 10 users, right, the typical server cost, the last quote that I quote to customer is about 12K, one-off payment. And that is not only just for the server, that also inclusive 40 gig ATE, and 40 plus care services 1 year, and setup configuration. Yeah. And
That
that
includes
server,
all the software costs also.
sorry, pardon?
Does it include all the server software costs?
Server software cost, the standard of the server software. If let's say it's like a third party, normally we don't install. Like for example, some clients actually have their own software want to plug into the servers, right? We will try not to do it, but we will let the customer to actually ask their vendor to install it.
Yeah. How about your consultancy services to configure, set up a system, training, everything?
Okay, the price over here, right, is inclusive of the setup configuration, inclusive of the training.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Sean, I just want to check. Basically, okay, what is that called? I just slipped my mind. I'm sorry.
Okay. Never mind, you can just think about it.
Okay. Okay, actually, basically, there's quite a few customization that we do. Of course, your quotation, you could have your quotation format, but we want to have our letterhead, we want to have a nice logo, we want to basically format a different way. So that one, I presume, will be additional cost, right?
If let's say you just add on your company logos, right? Normally, the one we will do it for client. But if let's say that you want to change the whole layout, right? Yes,
Yes.
that is customization.
Definitely, we may. I mean, we may. It depends. We may change the whole layout for that.
Yeah, that belongs to customization.
Okay, just another question itself. Actually, yours is PSG, so PSG only up to 32,000. So actually, your server and your computer, all these things, the hardware side is not including. There's no subsidy for that, is it?
Okay, basically it's like this. For the hardware, right? Normally PSG won't cover the hardware for the package unless you're actually selling the hardware, like maybe the thermometer attendance machine, something like that.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, yeah. But for this stage system, right, they are not covering the hardware. Okay, because the package is not inside lah. So some of the client, right, if they say they want to actually get a new laptop, right? Normally I will introduce client, right, is that you can actually get from your service provider. Okay, the Singtel or StarHub, they actually Singtel M1, they actually have the bundle package with the PSG of the 3 laptop.
Oh, we already bought
You already
that.
got it?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, that's great. So basically is that so long that your hardware is meet the requirements, right, then you don't need to actually upgrade accordingly. But if let's say
Because
your hardware is not meet the requirements, then you actually gotta actually get a new one.
yeah, because I find that this subsidy is very small, actually, because I don't know if you use the PSG, then we actually also already tap on quite a few PSG grant. So definitely like the computer that we use for 3, so this will have to be discounted from there. So I
Correct. Because
thought
each of the
shipping
company,
is
they
a
only subsidy
correct.
30K.
Shipping, I thought there's a grant called ESG. No, E what?
Yeah,
ESG.
EDG.
ED, E something like Enterprise something Singapore, right?
Enterprise Development Grant, is it?
Yeah,
Correct.
EDG.
Yeah, can we use the Enterprise Development Grant in this case?
Okay, if you want to use that, is not an issue. But the things that there's a couple things that I will let customer to actually thought of it and then have a consideration. First thing first, okay, when you want to go on to that ESG grant, EDG grants, right? Yes, can, but you need to actually get have a proposal and then
Yeah.
all of your analysis like okay, increase how many percentage of the productivity, everything you got to actually write in the proposal. Okay, that's the first thing. Okay, then second thing is that this enterprise this EDG grants, right? The process of the approval is about 4 to 8 weeks, and there's no guarantee on the approval. Meaning is that maybe you spend a time on like doing all the proposal and then you submit to seek for the approval, and in the end, right, you might not be actually get the approval. Okay, that's the second thing. And the third thing is that the subsidies amount, right, if I'm not mistaken, right, it will not up to 70%. It's actually up to 50% if I'm not mistaken. So the amount is actually not that much as like the PSG grant. Okay, because PSG actually like they actually pre-approved vendors. So they actually pre-approve our quotation, and they actually so-called like black and white written down over there, right? How much you actually can get back on that. So that is quite a certain thing lah. But if let's say that you're looking at the ESG, right, there's that EDG, right, there's a few things that actually not certain. So some of the client, if let's say they want to actually compare the PSG and the EDG, right, I would say that still PSG is much more better is because that it's actually like I just based on the standard things to fill out and then submit on that. But the thing is that just now you do mention that you guys actually go on to the hardware already, right? So the 30K of the capping, right, is actually lesser. So which means that the grant, the statement of my email right now, right, the subsidy amount, right, will not be that 30K already.
Yeah, I know, of course.
Yeah, unless you have another entity, then that different story.
Oh, don't have, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, then
So how much is the Sage cover basically?
how much is a Sage cover? Okay, the Sage cover we are looking at, if let's say for 5 users, right, we are looking at around 3 to 4K per annum. Let's say we're looking about 10 users of 4.5K and above, depends on, okay, because the calculation will come from our principal. So to be honest, right, I'm also not so, I also don't have a specific amount, okay? And that will be actually depends on client when they, whether want to actually renew or not.
Okay, can. So,
Hi.
okay, good.
Hi, sorry.
yes.
Yeah, okay. So sorry, I think we talked too much about cost. I want to talk more about the software.
Yes.
So, because I think honestly, cost is the last stage lah. For me lah, okay, I like to know functionality first. So
Yeah.
actually, we have an existing system now. So I want to understand what you think your software's unique selling point is, because for me, what I see is almost the same. So if it's almost the same as compared to what we have now, there isn't, or to me, it's not very necessary to go through so much trouble, do data migration, etc. So I want to know what you think the USP is.
Okay, one thing that just now David do mentions, right, is that David mentioned, right, is that because your current synergic system is not actually interlinked with your APAC. Okay, so I think in terms of like the full running on the ERPs, right, if let's say you everything under the Sage 300, right, will be much more easier for you guys to actually run on the process, because it will be lesser the manual works on like the manual key in data, although that under the Sage also need to manual key in, but the thing is that all those like inventory calculation things on there, or like the plug into the AR side, right, is actually by the system to do it. So it's like not like, okay, I get from one software or one system, right, and then I get out the report and then doing some of the changing of the column, whatever things on that, then I plug into my iPad, or maybe I just key in again to my iPad. So this step is actually reduce it. So once you actually reduce this step, right, you actually minimize the human error when you actually rekey in the data. Because under the Sage, everything is there. So you just key in one time and you will reflect all the things over there. So I think this is the main point that you guys can take a look on that, is because that you will, like I said, reduce the human error, right? So increase the productivity. Because if let's say that human error lesser, meaning is that credit debit note also lesser. Something like that. And also, in terms of like the usage, right? I would say, yeah, no doubt, accounting system, ERP system, right? The usage is actually more or less is there. It's almost the same. But in terms of the controlling, the restriction, right? I would say that Sage is actually quite step by step. Meaning is that it's actually all by the rules on. I mean, when you actually do the posting and then it's actually fixed over there, if let's say you want to do any changes, right, you gotta actually do the credit or debit or whatever. Though cannot be like, I want to change, I just go and change it. So that's some of client feedback to me, is that once they actually use the Sage, right, actually the auditor have less question to them. That's what they feedback to me. So yeah, that's the point that I can share with you, and ultimately will be the cost of, because Sage is actually we are selling as a perpetual license. No doubt initial outlay is there, but the recurring cost, right, is actually will be lesser than the subscription. Yeah,
Okay.
there's a cost also that customer actually looking at. Sorry, just now, who am I talking to? Sorry.
Kai Kiat.
Kai Kiat. Okay, sorry. Forget the address you, Kai Kiat. Okay, so yeah, I do understand that. Okay, some of the clients might actually more focusing on the cost part, and some of them might actually focusing on the software function. Okay, and in terms of like, if let's say the functionality is almost the same, or maybe like okay, a little bit different, but the functionality is the same, right? And I think the cost will play a part on this whole discussion. Because of that, ultimately, when one company want to actually review their accounting system or the ERP system, right, I think the main concern is that maybe some of the services or some of the costing part, there's a concern to them. Okay, and definitely the software functionality. And after sales service, right, our after sales service, the response time, right, normally you will be like within a day or within a few hours. So normally client call us, if let's say that our guys is actually have available, they'll actually respond immediately. If let's say they are not available, right, we actually have all the system recording, so they'll actually respond within the day. So far I received a quite good response from my client on the after sales service. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. Wei Ming.
Yes.
Yeah, Wei Ming, can you post the question on the inventory problems that on the component side that we face, whether this Sage can be done?
Okay. Okay. Let's say I have a item. Okay, it is a parent item, so it has 4 components to let's say 4 minor components to form a major component. Okay, so let's say I try to do an inventory deduction, but because of my quotation, I just want to put the parent part number, but I also want the deduction to be done for the individual minor item as well. Can it be done?
Sorry, just now there's a little bit blur. Sorry, can you repeat the question again?
Okay, so for example, I have this item called item A. Okay, inside item A, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 items. Okay, so let's say in my quotation, I just want to put the part number or description as item A. But in terms of inventory wise, I want to deduct item A as well as 1, 2, 3, 4. Can it be done?
Yes, basically under the as just now I think I briefly actually mentioned about the BOM, right? Okay, that is actually what you actually require. basically is that when I actually create a bill of materials, right? I'm actually creating an item, master item, okay, and then under this master item, right, I have a different components, and I can create different type of the bombs. Where's my bombs? Okay, you see, one items, this, okay, but I can have different components of the different set of it. So if let's say I choose this bomb, okay, and then I create this bomb, right, and I go on to when I actually sell the items, and then I choose that master items, right? Yeah, I choose that master item, right? It will deduct all the material inside there,
including your master.
Yeah, because okay, master is actually built by these all items. So when I actually sell out this master item, right, it will deduct all the item at the below in the inventory.
Okay, so you're saying that you deduct everything, including the master.
Deduct everything, including the master. Yes, because of that, you're actually selling the master item.
Can it be done if I do not want to deduct the master?
You're actually selling the items, right?
Yes, but because I'm not interested in the quantity for the master, I'm only interested in the items quantity for the items within the master.
A little bit puzzled, sorry.
Okay, so look at the example, the one current on the screen. Okay, I'm not interested in the quantity for the filling cabinet. Okay, I'm only interested in the quantity for the desk lamp, pen, pencil, stapler.
Okay.
Yeah, so can my deduction just based on the the desk lamp, pen, pencil, stapler, and not the filling cabinet?
No. Okay. The thing is like this. This okay. Let's talk about this example. Desk accessory is my master items.
Okay.
Okay, and desk accessories, right? Component of this filling cabinet, desk lamp, pen, pencil. Okay, this all set is one item, master item. So when you actually sell the desk accessory one items, right? It will deduct the items of all over here as a component.
Okay.
So you you are actually asking is that okay, I selling this item and then I deduct these 4 items, but I don't deduct this item.
Okay, wait, sorry. So okay, you are saying that your desk accessories is the master.
Yes, correct.
Okay, what I'm trying to say is I'm not interested in the quantity for desk accessories. I'm only interested in the items inside the desk accessories.
But you are selling the master items, right?
Okay, the reason why asking this question is because inside the component for the desk accessories, it can be used for other masters as well. So it's interchangeable. That's why I'm not interested in the master quantity. I'm only interested in the quantity inside the desk accessories.
Okay, maybe I quantify this thing. Actually, it's quite confused a little bit. Okay, now the thing is this. Okay, what Wei Ming says is correct. That means basically what you definitely, if you, let's say if I sell the master, okay, then basically we minus the thing. But the trouble is that sometimes you know the master component inside, there's many sub components, right? Some of these sub components we can also sell it by itself. We also can sell it by itself. So therefore, Wei Ming said that he's not interested in the master, but more on the sub-components. But when you do the quotation, you...
I'm selling the master items, right?
Yeah, you're selling the master item, which consists of all these items, right, Wei Ming?
Yes.
Yes.
So my point is this. Let's say even you create the master, okay, you sell that item itself, okay? Let's say some of the components may not how to say how to say actually the trouble we have is that because we have because for different masters we have many common components that we can sell as it is for another master part number. So how to solve it? You see what I mean? Not a bit sticky actually. How to say? You can, if I don't sell the master, can I just sell the component by itself?
Yes, you can.
Yes,
you
right.
can. But the thing is that when you actually sell, like when you see on this screen, right, when I actually sell that items, right, I'm actually deduct all the components.
Yeah, all the 4 components.
Inside it.
That is correct. Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely under the inventory side, right, they will actually give you the inventory movement or inventory details, right, in details. If let's say you have all the items inside there. But what the system will do, right, is that when you sell one master item, you will deduct
For
all the components.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, of course.
Then you can actually view the report. It's actually under the component, not under the master. That can be done.
Okay. Okay, fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fine. As long as basically the master itself, but let's say for example, the master, let's say the master is $100, that means we also have to put in the individual component price or what?
When the initial setup.
We need to do that, right?
Yes, initial setup, we got to actually key in all the item pricing. Then when you actually create the items, right, when you actually create the bombs, right, you need to set up the cost, the pricing under the, where?
So let's say, for example, I create 2 masters. Okay. So these 2 masters may have 2 common components on each. So eventually I will be able to see at the end of the day how many components I left after selling all whatever I have in the system, right? I guess.
It will be depends that whether you already ship out or you already commit. If let's say you didn't commit or you didn't ship out, right, you will be still under your inventory, and the quantity will be based on the inventory available to actually give you the quantity of the total.
So you mean you commit? Commit means that basically it's a reserve, right?
Correct. And then that if let's say it's ship out, it's already delivered out.
Correct. So
Because
when it's
once you
reserve,
deliver, you will take out from your inventory.
So for reserve, it will not be taken out from the inventory, in this case.
For reserve is that I committed the quantity for this sales order, but I haven't do the DO.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the inventory should not be touched by then until it is sent out. Then you actually then can do the inventory, right?
No, because the thing is that if let's say you want to take a look on your available items, right?
Yeah. Then yes, I understand.
Yeah.
That means somebody has committed
inventory.
that
Yes,
reason.
inventory will be still inside there.
Okay. So you also can do basically a demo. I saw a demo for the reorder. That means when the stock actually goes down to a lower level, there
will be a item movement, and then you can actually based on the reorder report to actually order the items.
Okay.
Reorder, you can set a reorder levels up. Then they'll have a report for you.
So there's also a warranty contractor list. What is that?
Okay, that one is different. Okay, from here, from here, okay, to here, right? That is actually for other. Okay, like I said just now, right? Stage is basically a Lego basis, right? So under the inventory, right, they have one item component called serialization lot analysis. That is more on to like for the retails or for the FMCG industry, right? When they sell items, right, they will actually have the expiry date, they have the lot number. So normally they will use it. But if let's say
actually we have this also. Our stock also have expiry date also.
Okay. In that case, you guys want to use the system to keep track. If let's say you guys want to use the system to keep track, right, then you guys actually need to add on the serialization lot analysis.
Yeah, there's the extra cost, is it, for that?
Yes.
Okay. I just understand. I just want to know that because we also want to track our warranty, our serial, so that at least we don't have to check on the we don't have to check physically. You see, I mean on the paper.
I see. Yes, there is under the stage.
Okay.
I think we have so-called been going on having a good discussion over the last 1.5 hours. I think we should call it up, wrap it up. And do you have any more questions and queries to pose to discuss with Sean?
Any other further inquiries?
If not, I just want to quickly round up. Sean, I remember you mentioned that 10 concurrent license is about 13,000. That's after the subsidy, as well as the server will cost about 12,000. So the initial outlay is about 25,000 for 10 concurrent users.
Not really. The initial outlay, it should be 43K plus the 12K, it should be 55K.
Then what's you mentioned the license is 13K, what's the other $30,000 for?
Okay, basically it's like this. PSG grant will actually subsidize you up to 30K, cap at 30K. So which means that the initial outlay you still need to give it to us is the 43K 227 for that 10 user license. Okay, but in the end of the day, right, when you actually submit the claims, right, they'll actually claim back to you the subsidy amount for this package. So
Okay.
if let's say we are looking at 30K, the capping 30K, right, in the end of the day, your net investment is about 13K 227. And this is actually a different perspective than the ISO, because ISO is like, okay, when you actually go into the ISO certificate, right, then you actually just pay the differences, I mean the balance amount to the vendor,
Sure.
and the vendor will get from the company.
So in the end, the net investment is 13,000, which includes a software concurrent license for 10 users, plus your installation, configuration, and training services, plus 12,000 for, so it's about 25,000 lah.
That is a net investment, yes, correct.
Okay.
But
so, Sean, thanks very much.
You have the balance of the 30K.
Yeah, so thanks very much for the time spent explaining to us. When we ask all these difficult questions, it shows that we're really engaged in this software. But we're talking to a couple of other PSG vendors. You're the first one, so that's why we ask all the hard questions.
It's okay.
So we're talking to other people. Then after that, we'll come back to you, and maybe is there any other information you need from us to prepare a quotation?
I think
so
far still okay. What I will do, right, is that I will provide you the 10 user package, okay, 10 user software package, and then also provide you an hardware quotation.
Yeah.
Okay, and also that just now we wanted to mention about the serialization log and assist that one, right? I will actually do at a separate quotation also, so that you will actually total get 3 quotations from me, and also the hardware compatibility. In case that you guys don't want to get the hardware from us, right? Then you can, based on the hardware compatibility, to actually check your hardware.
And by the way, VY and Kaike are copied in the email that we are corresponding. So VY is the GM and Kaike is the HR admin manager lah. So these are the so-called 2 key persons that will be so-called. Yeah, you can just respond to the email so that we're all in the loop lah.
Okay. Yeah, I saw it. Kaike, Wei-Hua. Okay, Ken, no problem.
Yeah, it's all very clear, Ken.
And yeah.
Okay.
Ayat is my other so-called colleague, also in my team. Yeah.
Okay, Ken, no problem. Yeah. So any other things that need me to further elaborate?
But I think that's a lot for us to absorb.
Okay, Ken. So I just stop the sharing first.
Yeah. So thanks very much for your time, Sean.
Okay. So thank you for invite. I mean, we have a meeting discussion, and then I will send it to you guys these 2 days. Then anything you guys can let me know if you have further inquiries. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for the day and have a nice day.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hey guys, can we stay back for a while after so-called Sean has left?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, hi. So so Sean has left already. So how's the experience so far for the first round? 1.5 hours for you guys?